I want to move on because we do have a finite period of time. Is it appropriate for the actor David Tennant to tell the British LGBT Awards that he wanted a world where the Equalities Minister, Kemi Badenoch, doesn't exist anymore and that she should just shut up?
I think people in public life need to watch the level of their discourse and treat each other with respect. And I think it speaks to just how sort of, vehement this debate has become.
Why then did you pay tribute to a trans activist called Beth for their dedication to the Scottish Parliament's Gender Recognition Reform Bill when it then emerged that this activist had incited violence against those campaigning for women's rights?
Well, I had no knowledge whatsoever of those behaviours. I literally never had a conversation with that individual.
Why did you pay such glowing tribute to them in the protest?
Well, like I say, I really had no knowledge of this individual other than the fact I'd seen them in the public gallery into the late night sessions over that bill. And actually, had I known those behaviours, I wouldn't have done anything of the sort. I utterly condemn that behaviour. I had no knowledge of that person whatsoever. I've literally never had a conversation with them. And they were.
Yet you were able to say in the really dark hours, we would look up and see Beth. It was Beth for you guys that we were doing this in terms of the gender recognition reform bill.
She just introduced me at a rally, and I was, I think it's a respectful thing to pay, give thanks to the person that's introducing you at a rally like that.
So where do you stand now? Where do you stand now? You voted in favour of the gender recognition reform. Where do you stand on it now?
Where do I stand on the bill? Mm-hmm. Well, we recognise that the court judgment makes it very clear that we can't go forward on a Scotland-only basis on this. And actually, I think the SNP failed in terms of winning hearts and minds about the fact that we do still need an answer to a humane approach to gender recognition. So we need to take the heat and the hate out of this. And Liberal Democrats, I think we go back to first principles, recognise, we've got a lot of healing to do as a country. We've got a lot of listening to do for people who've got concerns and who are worried, and then move forward from first principles on a four nations approach.
So when you align yourself with an activist who is photographed with knives and an axe and is actually suspended from the Green Party because of those. Well, perhaps you should have done your homework a bit more. When you align yourself with people like that, why should women who are concerned about protection of women-only spaces vote for Liberal Democrats?
Laura, like I said, we can go back over this again if you want. I had no knowledge whatsoever.
Well, then why don't you? Let's not go back over it. Just why should women who are concerned about this issue vote for Liberal Democrats?
Because Liberal Democrats are listening, and we understand that there are legitimate and deeply held concerns about, and people who are not persuaded about the case for gender recognition reform. Liberal Democrats believe we do need a more humane approach to gender recognition reform. And unfortunately, the SNP tried to bulldoze this legislation through legislation without bringing hearts and minds with us. And
you supported it fully the whole way through?
Yes, of course, because we absolutely believe that gender recognition reform and a humane approach to do that is harming people right now. The system we have right now is harming people. But it doesn't mean, look, it was the bill that was on the table. It's our party policy to support it. So of course we backed it. But right behind the scenes throughout, I was saying we're not bringing the communities with us. We're not answering those concerns that people have about safety, reassuring people that this isn't going to be harmful. And as a result, I think we lost the dressing room. And we've set the agenda back, or rather the SNP have set the agenda back for a long time to come. And that's why Liberal Democrats want to go back to first principles and bring the four nations of this country with us, answering and addressing and listening to the legitimate concerns that people have.
Alex Cole-Hamilton, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning.